approaching the gate. They're at the post. Now they're moving into the gate. They're off and running.
Hello, Billy Ho here. And this is going to be the post draw show, little analysis. We got the post draw this morning for the 2023 Belmont Stakes. Welcome to my channel. I appreciate everybody joining me. We have a 9-horse field. We're going to go over the post draw and see if there's anything to glean from that. And we're going to take a glance at some of the past performances and maybe do a little bit of analysis on how we think the race might go. So thanks again for joining me. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button and leave some comments. Keep them coming. They've been really great. So let's get going. We are going to start with the favorite, Forte. Todd Pletcher's big dog got the 6th post, which, that works fine. Like I said in the previous video, I don't think any of these post positions are going to be a big deal at the Belmont track, but there is a couple of horses that are paired together that are kind of interesting. So we're going to do that. So anyway, the big question would be his fitness. We all know about the scratch at the Derby. He got held out of the Preakness, hasn't raced in more than 2 months. He obviously won the Fountain of Youth this year, all 4 months from the Breeders' Cup at Keeneland. But he didn't have an injury that scratched him from the Derby. And he lost a few weeks of training. He does seem to be in good shape coming in. I posted a short video yesterday. I showed it to you, found it on Twitter. It shows Forte just kind of jogging around the track or whatever the other day. It was a recent video, and he does stumble. And so people are up in arms saying, what's going on with Forte? We don't know what to do now. Is he not 100% or what? I don't know. Well, the thing of it is, and I slowed it down. I'll show you a screenshot of it. This is kind of like the doing the forensics. But anyway, it looks to me on this screenshot, it's his left front that rolls over a little bit. He kind of like rolls his foot and then stumbles a little bit. And if you remember from the Derby, it was the right foot that was bruised. So make of that what you will. You could probably just throw it out and go on with it. Or if you want to use it as a tiebreaker, then that's good too. So we'll go ahead, and I'm going in the order of morning line odds. Obviously, Forte was the morning line favorite at 5-2. Now we're going to go to Todd Pletcher's next big dog, Tapit Trice, who is 3-1. And this horse will break differently. He got the 2 post, likely be towards the back, obviously. The inside rail, which is the 1 post, is winning at a 20% clip. But the right next to it is the 2 post, obviously. Something to look at in the past performances was, I like to call it the first call, second call. There's usually a plus or a minus number on the pace. There was a plus 14 number in the Derby, which is usually like a faster pace. And it plus 14 and up is generally where it gets into like the pace is making a difference. It goes beyond neutral. The higher the number, the faster the pace, which usually is supposed to help closers, right? So anyway, so that should look like a knock on Tapit Trice. But looking at the break here from the Kentucky Derby, you can see he gets out slowly once again. He's just a big horse who seems to break slow and have problems. And in this race, he just got pushed all the way back in an 18-horse race and was, to me, way too far behind. So, getting shuffled back like that, too much ground to cover. I think maybe the Derby was just a bad spot for him altogether. So not a toss, but he made up ground in the end. But I think with the added distance at Belmont and the smaller field and maybe even a slower pace, I think he should be able to stay within striking distance, hitting the last quarter mile or so. So I'll tell you this: if he flops here, he's got no excuses in my book. So still sticking with my dude. Next up, Brad Cox, Angel of Empire, grabs the 8 post. And he also, looking at this break again, he ran into some traffic at the break and he got shuffled way back. but he was able to mount much better rally for third place. So I kind of like his chances. He could dominate this race come Saturday. I'm still sticking, with Tapit Trice. I reserve the right to change my mind, but Angel of Empire it's almost like 1-1A for me, and it was practically like 1-1A at the Derby. So I'm not really changing anything drastically. So I think he's obviously going to be fine. Son of Tapit. Uh, they like the added distance. They've had several Belmont Stakes winners. So progeny of Tapit. Next up, you got your possible pace setters. National Treasure. I believe National Treasure is breaking off at 5-1. Yes, that's correct, 5-1. And both these horses, he's also 4-post, and Il Miracolo, who I'm going to go ahead and get out of the way here, is in the 5-post. Both of these horses want to break for the lead. So I think that's pretty good for National Treasure because he can be alongside Il Miracolo and for the lead. And then after they make the first turn, he can kind of draft alongside of him and then through the first turn and then make for the lead before we even get to the half mile. And then maybe that's a position for him to try to slow things down or sit on the pace a little bit better. The only thing would be is if Miracolo if he does surrender the lead early and Miracolo continues to push the pace faster and faster, then Johnny V's got a decision to make to follow along or just hold pat. So that's going to be an interesting aspect. Next up is Arcangelo, trained by Jenna Antonucci, and he's breaking from the 3-post. The Peter Pan winner is the 4th choice in the morning line odds and gaining some steam. And you also can't hurt with Kentucky Derby winner Javier Castellano aboard. So looking at his figures from the Peter Pan, the pace, if you look at that first call, 1C says -20. -22 on the second call. Very slow pace, slow early speed, but crushes it late. So that's good for this distance. I don't know if the slower speed will help Arcangelo in making for any kind of lead or, I don't know if that's going to work with this crowd anyway, going up against these foes. So anyway, I think, and I might be wrong, and I'm sure you'll let me know if I am. But anyway, I'm not looking for Arcangelo to make my betting card, which doesn't mean he won't run 4th or 5th or have a strong showing. I just not there for me. So let's see. Next up is Brad Cox's Hit Show. Clocks in at the 7-post. His pressing style and good early speed should keep it. I think he'll stay in the race. It's hard to say. Maybe the added distance will be his undoing. It's hard to tell. The down the stretch run after I looked at the Derby a couple times, he's in really, really good position, but then just kind of gets squeezed out by Mage and the jockey's really, really just trying to keep him engaged, but he just kind of flattens out down the stretch at the Derby. So maybe the slower pace will help if there is one. So I think he's still in the neighborhood of the exotics. If you're rolling out trifectas and superfectas, things of that nature, I think he's still in the mix. After that is Steve Asmussen's Red Route 1, who's got a bit of a following and a very steady. I call him Steady Eddie. He seems to run his race every time. I really wanted to see. I was watching on Twitter the post draw. Excuse me. On the post draw this morning, they had him on a Zoom, and but they couldn't get connected to him. That he really looked like he wanted to say something about his horse and why they're running them in this race and what do they think they're going to do and everything else. They had later on they brought out another trainer, but I didn't really. I really wanted to hear what Steve had to say. But anyway, his early speed obviously is far below this group, but he comes hard down the stretch. So I think maybe if he can just hang on until they hit the far turn or quarter pole, maybe he's got a shot to hit the board at double figures. So he's like an exotics trifecta. I'd bump him up, maybe even a chance to maybe clean up if there's some sort of pace meltdown or something, and hit for the exacta. But I don't know about that. We'll have a betting show on later on in the week where we can narrow things down a little bit more. I'm just really getting into the past performances right now, just to try to narrow things down a little bit. The other Brad Cox trained Tapit shoes will break from the one post, which is an advantage according to the track bias. Over the last month, there's 20% clip. Now it's not a mile and a half race, but they are route races, or winning early pace and inside post is winning a lot. So take that for what it's worth. I do like this horse. It's another or I shouldn't say out of. It's a son of Tapit. Um, but I like this horse. He's only raced 5 times, and Tapit's usually mature, uh, at an older age, late bloomers, I guess, maybe. Improving at a distance should be fine. So he might still be in the race, or I should say, he might still be a race or two away from beating these foes. So maybe an exotics play, but that's about as far as I'm going to take it there. That's going to cover it for the betting show, the post draw analysis show. I appreciate you all watching. We're going to do another. We'll keep updating it as we get news, but I'll come out again at least before the weekend. I know of maybe every couple of days, and we'll try to narrow things down, and maybe we can win us some money. So until the next time, thanks for watching. See you soon.